Hello, everyone. I would have liked to have put this video that you're hopefully going to watch after this, if this recording makes it. I would have liked to have posted yesterday on the 16th, but I recorded about 30-ish minutes. Sound wasn't working. Turns out user error. Even though I played it through my computer, it didn't work for whatever reason. But these weren't on Bluetooth mode, but they still recorded the voice. I didn't know it could do that. But once I pressed Bluetooth, it worked just fine. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you for hopefully some patience. I may try to get another video out tonight just to make up and try to keep on a consistent basis of making a video a day just to build up to it. Or I can just save that for tomorrow and give y'all basically two videos combined into one for today. Apologies for the delay, but here we go. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel for Soft Pretzel. I appreciate the support for yesterday's video. I think it was around 40 views whenever I checked it before recording this, and of course, thank you for subscribing as well. I do want to start off with a promise I made in this video to a friend that I would do a special kind of um, Richard reveal. So there you go, Vito. That's for you. And then I also believe I owe one to somebody else in the group chat that I'm in. There you go. All right. So today's video, I think, is going to focus on taking the XML file from my Apple Music library and trying to show what I did to get to the steps I took for creating my Shiny application that's going to be available for people to use. I'll try to leave the link down in the description if I could figure that part out. Also want to apologize for yesterday's trying to insert an intro song. I'm not going to do it today until I figure out how it works. I couldn't edit it, couldn't get the audio through it. Whenever I did download the audio, it sounded like car parts screeching and metal clanking. Anyway, so I'm going to try to figure out how to do it a little more efficiently with sharing my screen so you don't get bombarded with my background 40 times. But let's see. So I'm using RStudio, by the way, but I think the first thing I'm going to show y'all is the text edit that shows what the file looks like when it's downloaded as an XML file. Now it's different than a CSV, and the only thing I can see that is physically different about it is that it's brackets that separate each individual item. And so let's see. Okay. A lot of stuff on here. Definitely need to clean this out eventually. I do not know music. There we go. And open with text edit. I'm gonna try to just open that full screen. I hope this is still showing. Um, so basically, what this is it is listed by each song. So the 2,657 songs. Oh, wait, sorry. No, sorry. That's just a random track that they track ID that they gave the song. I think I have like 3,000 plus songs. Um, but as in this, you can see there's name, the first song I guess I ever downloaded on my current Apple ID account is I Can't Feel My Face. The artist, The Weeknd, album, uh, where did it go? Oh, album artist, The Weeknd, album Beauty Behind the Madness. So there's data that I definitely took from this and I used it to what I thought was useful. But then what I was talking about yesterday is that there is the year that I downloaded it, the date that I downloaded it, so like July 11th, 2015 sounds about right. That's I think when I started my Apple Music profile. Um, and then there's Total number of skips I've had, I actually don't know. I don't think that might be accurate. Um, the most recent play that I've had was August 20th, 2025, because I just throw everything on shuffle. But that should wrap it up for that showing the file. I hope y'all could see that. If not, I will try to upload a second video on showcasing that. But I'll show you now the RStudio. Um, maybe. Oops. Okay. So I've ran a couple things already just to make sure that they were working. So it looks like for the songs, I have about 1.7 gigabytes or 3,553 elements. I don't think that physically means songs because whenever I click on the first thing that I had, it basically shows you the same information. Um, huh. Oh, so that's just the full list of every song for that first one. The second one is the individual information of each song, and then so on for the rest of the 3,552 of them. Let's see. So basically, what this is first doing is it's taking the XML file and reading it in, and then taking the roots, which I believe, and I definitely could be wrong because it's been over a year since I've made this file, is it takes the chunks of the stuff, like each song, and then breaking it down into um, each individual trait of the song. And I could be wrong, and let's even see if it shows us an example of what it's supposed to do. Um, Collection of methods for providing easy access to the top level XML node. I don't know what this means. I forgot what it means. I'll research into this. This is also the point of this channel. If you know, please help. Please help anybody that might be confused. But I think these first two, after I ran it, gives us the list of the individual information, and then the keys. I think I tried to get it unique in the fact that like I could have duplicate songs of something, like it could be for instance, when I had Eminem's Without Me, I had explicit and clean from when I was growing up. I think it would probably take Without Me, the explicit version now, um, considering I had well more song plays than that compared to the clean version now. So what I also like to do is take the lapply for it, which, oh, I changed the name of it. It is running, let's see. So Sugar Bombs becomes, I think, just the same info. I don't actually know what any of the difference was in the two functions I used. But this right here will take a second, most likely. I think it might take 2 to 3 minutes. If it does, I hope I can edit this out because I had some feedback yesterday that I should have edited it. Um, learning curves. It was called a humble first step for a reason. I'm learning. I'm actually just trying to remember. I spent a year, well, basically 10 months at Notre Dame for business analytics program. From the beginning of that program, the only other experience I had with coding was sport analytics for a class at Texas Tech. So it was a steep learning curve, and I want to build up on that. And even if it's small stuff that maybe nobody might use, I want to build it to something that they could use. So what I want to envision with this is if you find out if you have a MacBook, you can take your XML file and try to load it into the application that I will try to get going on the Shiny app. If I can get that to work, then all people have to do is upload their file and it can parse it through and get um, information for it all. there's definitely going to be some things I'd probably have to fix, like artist names in different languages, special characters, um, even sometimes like things I tried to clean up down here in the code later on. It does get missed. I even had some where I had to fix um, certain titles of the songs or the album titles. Um, just overall, I want to build something that people might want as an alternative to their Spotify Wrap or Apple Music. And mentioning Spotify, if I can figure out that I can take the file two of that, I want to build into this Spotify's version. If that's also an XML file, that could be just as easy, but if it's a different way, I want to try to do both that type of file and an XML file. And let's see. I'm going to try, I'll probably just run this now currently as it is with what I want as the song title, the total plays, the song time total. But there is that other information. I don't have an incredible amount of time today, and I wanted to push through and make a video on at least explaining how I got to my first conclusion on the first run through I did for this, and then also just update and give y'all the Shiny app link. So if nothing else, you can look at my music history, and if you find it interesting and want to know what songs I listen to the most by an artist or an album, feel free to look through it. There's literally thousands of songs. You can find how much time I've wasted. Uh, Maybe if I've fallen asleep and Kendrick Lamar has got an extra 30 plays when I'm listening to an album. That could be where some of it comes from. Who knows? It doesn't do anything for like downloaded songs or sorry, search songs. It only does it for downloaded. So unless it's not in my library, or unless it's in my library, the information won't be there. It is taking a longer time than I would have hoped for. I am also currently trying to use my hotspot because the internet in the first level of my apartment does not seem to reach all the way up here at an effective level. I guess what I can continue to do is explain what each other little part of this does. So the next little part that will happen here is there is the track ID, and then there is the um, information for all the songs. The track ID meant nothing to me, and I'm pretty sure here is where I just take that row out of existence, and everything else um, goes down here to where I use Tidyverse to clean up some stuff. So I made melted songs, which takes that one single strip of every single bit of information and turns it into a row with columns, kind of, well, one column, but a ton, like hundreds and thousands of rows for songs. Um, and then each little part of the information I try to go through, like you saw in the text edit, hopefully, is that it gets separated out to where each value that I do want becomes its new own special column. And then everything else that was in that original column before that gets cleared out. And then it just keeps getting smaller and smaller little chunks until it's done. Now I'm 100% sure there's easier ways to probably do this information, but this is how I find it effective to learn what exactly it is I could be doing to clean up my data. If there's a for loop or a while loop or a function I can create, if you have the time to want to go through this, by all means, I will also include my GitHub so I can upload this code. And if you find something that you want to work out and see if adding it in as a function works, feel free to do so. And then let me know in the comments. So basically, the rest of this is just, as I said, going through and taking, for instance, the genre. it's going anything before genre, like that dot plus, is anything literally before the word genre. And then anything after it, it will capture that second group, so the genre. And then it'll create it and put it in a column called genre. Then afterwards, I will go through and clean up everything that's after the word genre, just because it uh, actually, did I do that correctly? I don't know. I'm not sure why I did this one right here, but this one should have cleared up the original one that was before it, so that only the value is still there. So I go through and I made values. I made total time as an integer. I made all of the ones that I wanted to use as a physical data point as integers. And then I rounded down to make it to a full length of, I think, 360,000 or 3.6 million. I think it was milliseconds. I'm not sure the actual time value of it. It might be for an hour. Um, so you round that down, and then you get the total number of the minutes, the hours. I did a bunch of math basically. Sorry, I'm not explaining this to the fullest extent. Still have the jitters, and my mind's a little bit scrambling. It is also still going. Maybe we'll come back to this. Maybe my internet is not the fastest. Um, anyway, all that to say, I made the time variable for the number of hours, the number of minutes, and the number of seconds as close as I could get. So there could be some songs that have 200 to 300 plus plays and a couple of milliseconds each song missing. That could be a couple of minutes that I don't have the data for. So there's definitely a little bit of error since I rounded. And then I went through and cleaned up some of the stuff that I needed to for like an album or the title of a song, the artist. Um, don't remember why I made them as factors directly off the top of my head. And then the final thing that it does is it writes a CSV file with all of the information and saves it to my local downloads file. I called it I don't know because I still don't know, and it's under music. And then what that will do will allow me to run it in my RStudio or the Shiny app. And the Shiny app starts off with just loading in a bunch of stuff I didn't know if I needed, and I just wanted to be sure so that way I'm not missing anything. So it starts off reading in the SV file or CSV file, taking off one of the columns, and then just wanted to make sure it ran and worked. I don't actually know if it does anything. Oh, I think I remember why. Is because it doesn't account for spaces or something, and so it'd be like total dot plays for total plays. So I wanted to clear it up and make sure that it like actually said what I wanted it to say. But the first thing that this does is it's called UI, so user interface, and from my understanding, it's what you see, but also what you can interact with, or at least very much what you can see. So I have the body, I have the result panel, the title panel, the background color for it, the padding, the border, the buttons, each little column's variable width and length. I like this part just because it's like you can get very creative with it. And an instance being like yesterday in the video, it had like a brown and yellow and white kind of text color and black text too. You can change any of that. You can make the buttons as big as you want to. You can like basically not have any of that border around anything. Um, and there's also like the color of the text. There's the background itself. So an instance being, I'll change one of these for fun. Let's go with, I don't know if this will work. If it doesn't work, it might just crash. And if it does work, we'll find out what color it could be. So this one is actually, I'll do a much more noticeable one. Let's go with the body. We'll go with, while that's still running, let's see if that's even a hex code. We might just take whatever this is, or I might be colorblind. 88, 33, 99. Let's see what that might do. Oh, I also forgot one number, so that could explain it. I think this still might pull through the other melted music file I had. So I'm going to try to run this and we'll see if it will actually run or if because this is running, we'll delay it. Actually, play it safe. I'm going to wait. And I think for right now, I will stop this recording and probably immediately after I stop it, it'll load up. So the time is 7:01 right now. I'll update the time whenever it is done. I hope it's soon because I'm sure y'all might be a little bit lost at the moment. So I just want to show some results, if anything else. Let's see. All right, we're back. 7:08, so at least five or you know variable between the numbers 5 and 8 for minutes taken since then. Uh, I did learn that I can add on clips to this one. So what I did was press record to the video editing. Also learned that I could edit in this app itself. This is of course unsponsored. If you do have recommendations for editing software, that'd be much appreciated. Anyway, back to it. Okay. So as I was trying to explain this, um, now that it's back for the thing that was running, before I run the wrong thing again. So the last thing it did was songs data frame. So now if I run this, it will just show me the 1,000-ish little things. So that looks like, oh yeah, so that's what it was. It was literally just one row of all of the songs and then 3,500 plus empty ones. So then what I do is I run that and now it's just this one. All right, so now we get into cleaning it up a little bit, which I enjoy doing. All right, so I just made this one called melted, and what that is it splits off the variable and then the values. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get rid of this variable one because it does nothing to me, so I just do the comma 2 so it keeps the second column since it goes rows and columns inside of the square brackets. And then I'll just run this first one so that way I can just breeze through this a little bit. Let's see. So the first thing I did was I took out the track ID. I don't need it. It was still a part of the other one, but I wanted to get it out so that could be the first thing I can not have to worry about. And then I run, let's see, the rest of these. I remove anything that is um, an A, which I think was like songs that don't have anything listened to, which could, be understood. There's a lot of songs. I might miss some. So I take those out. So right now, this is how Melted Songs looks. So I got the first little part of the information for the play total. And in here, we'll also have the other information like the date that the song was released, the skip count of 5, my latest skip date, um, the day that I played it last. I think this is how it accurately is. I can't say for certain. What I could try to do is listen to one specific song, and anytime I listen to other music, I'll make sure that that song won't play so we can test this out because I think Apple Music on the phone and Apple Music on the Mac share data together. Otherwise, I have a lot more music listened to than I thought I would. To continue on though, so I got rid of stuff that was disc number on. It basically just means I'm getting rid of everything else that I didn't think I would need right then and there. So running all of this, change the column names around, just one little push through. Then I reordered the columns, and this is where I do like the time splits, and then more column names just for fun. So basically what this one will do, if I look at row 520 of the second column, or at least around that area, unless songs moved it up and down, whether they're deleted or added on, should be either blank or just doesn't look right, or just like a giant chunk of name. So let's see, 520. Yeah. So what it did was it doesn't see album. I'm not sure what the reason could be, but it doesn't put it under the album, so that's blank. So what I do here is make that one single spot for the artist, Lil Uzi Vert, Quavo, and Travis Scott. And then the album, I will fill in with that information for the album title. Um, Sorry that it's a Fate of the Furious kind of edit. Not sure anybody wants to be jump scared by them right now. So what else went on is that the Beatles White Album and the Beatles the Blue Album, both of them I'm guessing still had that incorrect album title, and it was just I think a closed parenthesis to make sure that it like at least got rid of anything that was album related. Not sure why. So I think this fixes those. If it doesn't work, it's because they moved around. I'll have to go through and clean all this up, and I won't bore y'all with another video on this, but I'll re-upload that footage. So I'm going to go through, clean all these up. I'll make these a factor again. I'm not sure why I did that. So now that wrote the CSV file. So I'm going to go through on the app, and I think if I just click run, it'll do it all. And remember, we did change this. It was like a brown, a yellow, maybe another color or a shade of brown and yellow. I just pulled up a color palette and selected those colors that looked interesting enough. So what I'm doing here is I'm running the app.r on my downloads file to go through to the Shiny application. And I save it, and now it should run it. Oh yeah, so that made this kind of 90s purple, I guess. Some drawbacks to this. is that normally in Apple Music, you would have stuff like $, comma, um, parentheses. Those would be moved around in the song order by like alphabetical characterization. But now it just throws everything all together. Like numbers are up at the top, even question marks, all of them MF Doom related. And then it doesn't follow also like A being, I don't know what the correct term would be, but not the correct position for that song technically. Um, Realistically, A Team, I think, is the first song most people might have. Or not. Maybe I deleted it. Or maybe it's the first one. Anyway, so basically what that does now is it slowly pulls all of my music information up. Like I said, I want to go back through and upload this with corrected stuff. Like one of my friends who had asked me about this project that I was doing last night was talking about like uh, use their exact words. Uh, Thought that the way they store data on your library is super weird. So any to show how that data works would be cool. And granted, they don't really show anything about that kind of information on your just physical library. And if they do, I don't know where you find it besides having to inspect a song in this data file. Another thing I want to do is try to get every image that's available on Apple Music and the lyrics so that you can click on a song and it'll pull up the lyrics and the image for the album. I think that would be a really cool thing. I don't know how to do that just yet. I've spent a little bit of time just physically downloading all of the images as far as I could. I think yeah, this was beginning of the year. I didn't get far at all. It took too much time. So maybe if I write a for loop on that or a function, please in the comments let me know if you can find that out. But I think that might just, once I figure out how to stop sharing, that might just wrap up this video now. I appreciate those who took the time to watch this. If you have any updates on something you think I could do differently, let me know. The next video I want to try to do is video game based with like I mentioned it last night, but like Call of Duty Zombies, I think is an easy way to make something small, but also you can have creativity with it. I want to do stuff like give me a random number between 1 to maybe go like 50 or 60. I don't want to drag out a video if it gets nothing out of it kind of feeling to me. So like if it's like around 47 I have to reach on a specific map, I either have 10 tries to do that map to get to that round and then I can move to the next map, or I make a donation to a charity or I don't know. So y'all can come up with the punishment. I trust in this community of the pretzel bites enough. Another thing would be trying to figure out a name for this community. My girlfriend gave me that suggested name. I like it, but if y'all have something else related to pretzels or any pretzelness, drop it in the comments. As always, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Appreciate the support yesterday. I hope to catch y'all again soon. Thank y'all.